So today we reflect and celebrate that mystery that when God began to save, which was centuries, but when this plan was coming to fruition, He gave a special grace that Mary would be conceived in the womb of her mother, St. Anne, without sin. And He could do that because God's outside of time. Mary needed to be saved like everyone else. She was just saved ahead of time. Now, two things. First of all, it tells us that when God calls us to something, He always equips us. He gives us what we need, particularly. But secondly, even though Mary's unique grace of being immaculately conceived is a mystery, there's no mystery of our faith that's not related to us in a really meaningful way. So what I want to propose to you this morning is, what would it be like to live beyond sin? Like, in a childlike way, what was Mary's existence like? Well, I think we have a door into this from our first reading because we see what happens right on the other side of sin. Shame, blame, and enmity. That's how we experience sin. We hide from God, we wear masks with others, and we evade. That's what Adam did. That's what Eve did. So imagine the opposite. Imagine living beyond shame. Like, I'm just so confident, resting in the Lord's love, the truth, that I can live on the outside. I don't have to play games. I don't have to hold my cards close. I can live vulnerably because I know I'm cared for and protected. What would it be like to live beyond blame? That's the first thing they do, isn't it? Adam's like, the woman you put here, she made me do it. He's so good at blame that he barely leaves Eve any blame. She's just like, it was the serpent, So Adam's is the greater fault. But imagine living life beyond blame, where I could go through and I don't have to blame other people for my restlessness. Of course I'm restless. I'm a creature. I'm made for eternal communion with God. Life beyond blame. Wouldn't that be beautiful? Life beyond justifying myself. And then thirdly, life beyond enmity. I was telling some of the middle schoolers in confession during the Day of Mercy that if I could go back and live what I know now in middle school, the one thing that I tell them this, that I don't need meanness to protect myself from other people's meanness. So they can be mean and it might hurt, but I don't actually need to be mean and kind. That's how I live middle school now. Although I don't want to go live middle school again, But this is what Mary shows us, life beyond shame and blame and enmity. And we can taste this in this life. We really can. God's grace is so good. He's so patient. He's so nurturing that He takes us where we are, and with our little openness, He helps us. So today we learn from Mary, and it's so beautiful. This new statue, which will eventually be there, arrived during Mercy Hour yesterday, the hour the Lord saved us, on the feast of St. Ambrose, just in time for the Vigil Mass. Isn't that beautiful? And you know what I love? I will often say this to women who are expecting. I will say, you know what I know with great conviction? There's nothing more beautiful than a pregnant mother. You know why? Because she shows us in her body what we're all meant to become. That my life is given, my presence is nurturing for another, And so I love this statue because, I love that the kids can just come up and put their hands on her. That's the whole point, And to feel the beating and to feel the mystery of Christ. Like, this is what Mary does. She helps form Jesus in each of us. Isn't that beautiful? So don't give up, You might feel wretched. You might hate yourself in your sin. That's not the point. Just keep repenting. Give yourself back like clay in the hands of the potter. And the Lord can teach us very slowly to live beyond hiding, to live beyond like pointing fingers at others, and to live beyond even that meanness and hostility. Like, I'm just at peace because she's my mother and Jesus is my Savior.